From painting to photography, from beadwork to woodworking, KQAL FM on the campus of Winona State University presents Art Beat. Art Beat highlights the work and accomplishments of local artists from in and around Winona. Support for Art Beat is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
Today on Art Beat, we have part one of the February water music from the Minnesota Marine Art Museum. Have you ever seen two people play the piano at once? Four-hand piano gained popularity in the mid-18th century, and the practice has made its way to the Minnesota Marine Art Museum for their water music chamber concerts. Speaking with us this Tuesday is Winona State professors and pianists Dr. Deanne Moore and Dr. Eric Brisson, as they hold a doctorate degree in piano performance and they aren't afraid to use it. I'm Ellie Herrick, telling you to turn it up and tune in as we give you a glimpse of the February water music at the Minnesota Marine Art Museum.
We're so lucky to be in a community that where the arts are as vibrant as they are. The Marine Art Museum it's such a great venue, and I think having concerts there is really fun. People seem to enjoy it. Just being inspired by the art in addition to having the music on top of that. It's inspiring for the artists too, to have that, to be playing in that kind of environment. It's really fun.
We're very, very lucky.
You guys have been playing music probably your whole life. What has been the earliest memory of music that you recall, either playing, learning, experiencing music?
First one, I just remember going through my parents' records, and with my sister, we used to just put song after song and just dance. And so dancing was my my very first memory of my musical experience. And then maybe my more significant one is when I was 8 years old. My parents gave me a little electronic keyboard for Christmas, and yeah, I just wouldn't stop playing. I would be on it hours at a time and just never stop. And even at that time, I was saying, I want to be a pianist. When I grow up, I want to be a pianist.
I think like Eric, I mean, my parents, listening to records a little bit at home, but I started lessons when I was 8, and my dad worked with one of his colleagues at work. His son was teaching piano lessons, and I was studying with him, and one of his good friends was playing concerto with the orchestra. So she was, I don't know, about 18 years old, and my dad took me to the concert, and seeing this, she was a role model for me. I like seeing a young woman on stage with an orchestra. It's a very powerful thing. I was like Eric was like, and that was it for me. That's when I decided that I wanted to do this. I'm not sure if it was because of the music or because of all the lights and the glitter. I think that was a big part of it. Seeing someone, a woman in a powerful position was really, I think, really formative for me.
Yeah, I think it's so awesome to talk to a bunch of different people about where they are now in their career and how they kind of turned their passion for something into a career. Do you have any advice for people who are doing music or doing certain things that are their passion and they want to turn it into a career?
You have to realize the amount of dedication, but also just, perseverance. You really can't give up. A career in the arts, you sometimes have to have quite a bit of flexibility in getting started. For about 2 years after I finished my doctorate, I was just freelancing and teaching lessons in Montreal before I got my position here. So, kind of a rough time and kind of living paycheck to paycheck, being willing to be flexible and try different things and sticking with it.
And of course, when you choose a career path like music, there will be times when it gets difficult, one can be tempted to kind of move away from or think of other fields. But maybe one advice that might be good is keep focusing on being as good as you can be as a musician. And so, of course, that involves putting the work in. It's a huge time investment, but it has to be there. And also not just rely on one's talent or musical aptitudes, but really put in the work. So the work has to be there, the dedication has to be there, and eventually things turn out.
both of you guys have the experience. You have your doctor in musical arts, and it obviously shows in your guys' performances, if I can say so myself.
Thank you.
You mentioned that kind of work and dedication. Like, what kind of work should people be putting in to perform at, like, the caliber and the kind of skill that they want to show to others? Pianists practice a lot. We spent years and years practicing, like 6 to 8 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's just kind of, if you're in grad school in piano, that's the expectation.
Yeah, there's an amount of time, and there's also the quality of the practice time. All this work done on developing ever better techniques, strategies, better ways to learn. And that takes time, and it takes practice too, because it's a trial and error kind of process. And so, because it is not merely just repeating over and over.
Which is actually like kind of detrimental. I mean, if you're just repeating, especially if you're repeating something that's not good.
There is a need for repetition for developing reflexes. However, it has to be carefully controlled.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so both of you do your performances like together or as like a solo throughout the year. You've done faculty recitals here at WSU. You've worked with the Winona Symphony Orchestra and even the Minnesota Marine Art Museum, like the recent February water music. What is kind of the secret to a good performance? Do you ever feel, I mean, you've been doing it for years, but do you ever get that like pounding in your chest, like, oh, I'm about to go on? Do you ever feel that?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The nervousness is always a thing. I think I'm a little less nervous than I used to be. I'd always hoped that it would get easier, and I'm not sure if it gets easier. I think you just learn how to control it, and you know what to expect. First performances, like big performances, and when, your heart is pounding and, you feel like, I don't know if I can do this. Once you've done it a few times, you know what to expect, and it's like, okay, so how do I ground myself? How do I control my breathing? And, staying focused on what we're doing.
And in terms of determining, how good a performance it was, that I think can be subjective from the performer's standpoint. Sometimes I remember performances when I thought, the outcome seemed to be my preferred outcome, which was, reaching my goals and so forth, but maybe the communication wasn't as strong, and so it can be, I think audience feedback is important also to see how these days I really hope at least that the audience will find the performance enjoyable and significant and meaningful to them. And so, and that is hard to quantify.
Well, that's really interesting you say that, because I think when you're a younger artist, it really is kind of hard. It's easy to make it a little bit more about you, and it's kind of like, okay, I'm reaching my goals, but you kind of forget that you're doing it for someone else, right? And I think with experience, one of the things that I notice is that, like, if the room is really quiet, I know people are listening, and I can feel that they're connecting with the music. Last week was really great because it was really, I really felt that the audience was with us. It was really rewarding.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned, like, kind of like the magic of that feedback after you perform. Have you had any, like, after you perform, you talk to someone and they have like this insight or comment that like maybe you didn't think and you were like, oh, that's so interesting, or maybe like something weird?
Yeah.
Yes, it happens often, yeah.
Do you have any examples?
Connections to other pieces, and also a lot of it has to do with connections, yeah, and yes, it's relationship with other styles of music or other pieces. Or
their own memories, or what they heard. I have a student who, it's almost like synesthesia. She feels that pieces, she could taste them. So, and always hearing what students have to say about, what pieces they enjoyed or pieces that they connected with and things that they noticed. That's always really interesting, especially on campus.
That concludes part 1 of the February Water Music at the Minnesota Marine Art Museum. Tune in next Tuesday at 12:30 on KQAL to hear part 2. Thank you to Dr. Deanne Moore and Dr. Eric Brazon for joining us on Artbeat. For more conversations on art, tune into Artbeat right here on KQAL 89.5 KQAL. For podcasts of Artbeat and other KQAL original programming, go to kqal.org. I'm Ellie Herrick, and you just heard from Dr. Deanne Moore and Dr. Eric Brazon on Artbeat.
Artbeat is written and produced by KQAL FM on the campus of Winona State University. Visit us on the web at kqal.org.